Hi, welcome back to RPTV Weekly News. My name is Kedar, and today my co-hosts are Fred, Gabriel, and Brook. We present news that impacts on Regent Park and the surrounding areas. In this episode, we present the following news for the week of January the 12th to January the 19th, 2024.
Report of the Regent Park Safety Network meeting on January 15th, 2024. Happy Mom, Happy Children tutoring program celebrates students' achievements. Sherbourne Health CEO named to Order of Ontario. City of Toronto proposes 10.5% property tax hike as part of 2024 budget. New housing deals. City of Toronto to receive nearly $500 million from the federal government to create 11,780 new homes. City unveils winter shelter plan for 2024. Events and jobs in Regent Park.
And now with the report of the Regent Park Safety Network meeting on January 15th, 2024. In a collaborative effort to foster community safety and engagement, the Safety Working Table of the Regent Park Social Development Plan convened for its monthly meeting. The gathering provided a platform for Regent Park residents, safety advocates, Toronto Police representatives, and Toronto Community Housing Corporation delegates to actively contribute to the dialogue. Moderated by Regent Park residents Leonor Swartz and Haja Abubakar, the meeting delved into various aspects of community safety and well-being. One of the central agenda items was an update from Neighborhood Community Officer Mircea Biga of the Toronto Police, shedding light on the encouraging news of a historic low in homicides and hate crimes in both Regent Park and the surrounding areas.
We really had a pretty good year in Regent Park last year. And I was able to confirm with the crime analyst at the station that there were 10 homicides in 51 division in the entirety of our boundaries of our division, but none of them in Regent Park. So that was a really good year in that sense. We spoke before about our efforts to stay on top of the crime, especially violent crime, by be visible. Our presence 24/7. We have a dedicated car in Regent Park, and also ourselves, myself and Farzad, and the other team working in Regent Park when we're off, Nigel and Osman. We try to stay visible and obviously respond to all the calls and concerns from the citizens, but also have the car, in the vicinity, and hopefully that's gonna deter any kind of antisocial behavior. So that's one I was able to confirm. We don't have many updates. Obviously, it's the beginning of the year. What I would like to talk about, in addition to what we spoke on last meeting, I was raised the concern about the group of young teenagers getting into fights and whatnot. We were able to identify pretty much all the kids in that group, and we had very good meetings with the school principals and the parents. Everybody's on board. Obviously, some of the families have their own struggles. It's usually single parent families that need a lot of support, and we're trying to assist them as well as we can. Putting them in contact with some youth organizations, referring them to the focus table, that 51 Division has, and also us being present as much as possible. With the gracious donation from Toronto Community Housing, actually from Brittany, she donated a lot of frozen turkeys and hams. We were able to assist some of this family with many kids. Some of the families that had their kids, victims of various incidents. Which was, really amazing before the holidays to be able to provide them with a little bit of extra meals. And we're also busy just before Christmas with our toy drive as part of the Project Hope. We were able to actually bring a lot of toys to Regent Park. We distributed some of these toys directly to some of the families that we had on our list of priorities. But we also were able to just hand out to tenants in 150 and 110 River. We actually opened up. It was towards the end of our day. It was a long day. We distributed over 1,000 kids received toys that day from the refugee families. They're coming from the airport. Basically, we have 2 hotels that we work with. We're fresh off the boat, how they say, fresh off the plane. So Project Hope was a great success, and it's starting to get roots. We actually today we had a meeting with the inspector. Durham Regional Police was pretty impressed with the results of the Project Hope and invited us for a quick meeting to learn about, and hopefully they'll be able to also implement similar projects in the Durham region.
Happy Mom, Happy Children tutoring program celebrates semester's end with student achievements. A heartwarming celebration marked the culmination of an inspiring semester-long journey for students, parents, and tutors in the Regent Park community. Happy Mom, Happy Children, a grassroots organization dedicated to empowering newcomer and immigrant moms in Regent Park, has recently wrapped up its successful tutoring program. Founded by Rabia Al-Sabi, a passionate educator and community leader in the neighborhood. The program aims to assist families in navigating the Canadian education system while fostering social inclusion and cohesion. Named Good Education for a Bright Future. The tutoring program has been a beacon of academic support for students from kindergarten to grade 7, thanks to the City of Toronto for the 2022 and 2023 Social Development Plan grant.
My name is Rabia Al-Sabi. I am the founder of the tutoring program. It's an after-school program for students in Regent Park and their surrounding areas who needs help with their homework, with their schoolwork. It's after-school program from 4 to 7, 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And this actually program was founded because of the need that my own kids went through. After COVID, it was so hard for us to pack up, I would say, to catch up on work. And was so hard, it's not even affordable to take them to Commons or pay like for a private tutor. So I saw that need for my own kids. And then that time I was a student at OISI, at UFT. I was doing my master's. And maybe I would say fortunate, where I got one of my friends we are in school together. They are but under a program which is Master of Teaching. So they came and they helped my kids. And then my friends in region, they felt like, oh, we are so lucky. And I'm like, you can be lucky too if you want. So I connected them. It was only 7 kids, 2 families. And then when I heard about the STP, the grant, I applied and we got, mashallah, from 7 kids. Now we have 53 students. Not even including my own or the students we started with, the 7 and my 3, which is 10. So about 63 students, I would say. And we have some tutors, but now actually we are really looking for to get more tutors because the number went beyond what we expected, a kind of double. And also I want to mention that this program is actually run by the fund from the STP. We applied last year for the fund to run the program for 1 year. And actually now we are getting to an end and we are looking to apply for more fund because it's very important for our students. It's very important. We all know that we have pathways, but pathways start they start grade 9, which is really late. It's very late to come to someone who's 15 years old and say, hey, I'm going to help you how to write. I will help you how to write an essay. I want to help you how to do math, science, how to do research. It's too late. It's literally too late. We need to make sure the support comes at very young age. We want to make sure those students, they love school. They go to school because they see their future in the school. We as parents, as newcomers, as all the parents here, my students, their parents are newcomers. Some of the kids are not even born in Canada. So I assume, including myself, we came to Canada for a good future for our kids, for a bright future for our kids. And there is no future without education. There is no future for education. You may have the money, you may have the power, but education, it's the weapon. Everywhere, I'm a war survivor. And the only thing helped me when I came to Canada, it's my education. It's the weapon I fight the world with. You know, it's the solid start. I can do anything because I have my education. So education is very important. And I want to see Regent Park, other organizations or other, I would say even individuals. I want to call our market residents and also Toronto Community Housing. And many people are in the education sector. Come by. Maybe you can tutor one student and, you know, change their life for better. You never know when the change happens. Today, actually, we are here to celebrate the hard work for those students, the achievement they have done for the last 4 months, the hard work they put together, the commitment for coming here, and also the tutors as well. They put the time, efforts to help those students. So I want to make sure that all they come, they meet. So especially the fact about our program, it's one-on-one. So for 4 o'clock session, they wouldn't know about the 5 o'clock session or 6 o'clock because they come and they finish their homework and they leave. And then the other group comes. So they never met. So now actually it's not like I have many families, they wasn't able to make it. Some of them, they have some, I guess there's a flu going on. They are not well. So, and I'm so glad people who made it, they are happy. And as you see, kids are enjoying their time.
MPP Kristen Wong-Tam graced the celebration with her presence, showing support for this impactful initiative.
Hi, I'm Kristen Wong-Tam, and I'm the Member of Provincial Parliament for Toronto Centre. Tonight we are here in Daniel Spectrum, largely to celebrate this amazing program that is run by Robbie in our community. This program brings students from Regent Park and matches them with tutors and mentors. They touch all sorts of subject matters, from math to English to science to even basic engineering. And you can tell that the kids are happy tonight. They're making all sorts of noise around me. And this is a milestone in the middle of the school year. And tonight is all about celebrating community. I want to thank them for all that they do, because these kids will have a fighting chance to be successful because the investments are being made. We know that pathways to education and opportunities to higher learning can actually support students and their families. It's another way of getting out of poverty. As a student myself, formerly of Regent Park, I know that when kids are given the opportunities to be successful, then anything is possible and sky's the limit. When students are not supported and their families don't have the resources to be successful, the challenges, the structural barriers are there, which is why community programs like this that allows for students to have an extra bit of time to connect with mentors and tutors will really make a difference. And I suspect that this program is literally transforming lives. So I'm very grateful for their existence. I'm very grateful for all the wonderful people involved. What I'd like to see happen is government doing more, stepping up and investing real dollars into Regent Park to make sure that programs like this can scale up and we can actually pay the volunteers. Public education in Ontario is an equalizer. We all recognize that in order for us to be successful, we need to be able to master the very basics of learning, but also be given the opportunity to achieve higher education. In communities like Regent Park, which is like one of the largest housing projects in the country, there are all sorts of systemic barriers that are there already setting some of the kids and their families back. We want to remove those barriers. We want to build in opportunities for success, and we have to do that by investing in public education. Overall, smaller class sizes, more opportunities for students to be successful, more resources for parents, and most importantly, making sure that parents can work with their students and the faculty as well as the teachers to make sure that the education conditions are perfect and they have a pathway to higher education and greater career opportunities.
This community program serves as a shining example of community-driven efforts making a tangible difference in the lives of young learners.
Hello, my name is Seth, and the reason why this tutoring program is important is because you gotta like have like the support that you need in school. If you're like catching out, your school's behind, you can like come here because like it helps you like keep like catch on what you're like lacking off. We receive all support in each subject: math, English, social studies, science. Stop getting sturdy. And then all of the subjects, and then like it really helps you because you have like all the attention you need. We just want to thank all the parents for coming and helping and letting the child come and to like support this like community.
Yeah. My name's Sarah, and I'm actually the daughter's founder of Happy Mom, Happy Children. And what brought me here today was probably the happiness from all the kids' faces, and also because I go to the tutoring program here. I started off at Nelson Mandela, and I moved my schools, but I realized in this tutoring program has really helped me find out who I am and really helped me with my subjects. And the tutors are great. They help me a lot. Even when questions are tough, they still believe in me.
I like the tutors a lot. They help you. They tell you once. Like they give you actually time. Like they don't just say like, why don't you get it? Like they're polite to you. They're respectful.
Sherbourne Health CEO named to Order of Ontario. Hazel Palmer, President and CEO of Sherbourne Health, is among 25 people who have been appointed to the Order of Ontario, the province's highest civilian honour for outstanding achievements. The appointments were announced on January 1st, 2024 by the Honourable Edith Dumont, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario and Chancellor of the Order of Ontario. The Order of Ontario recognizes outstanding people who have made exceptional contributions to help build a stronger province, nation, and world. Members of the Order come from all walks of life and represent various sectors of society, including public service, business, journalism, and healthcare. Hazel Palmer has been President and CEO of Sherbourne Health for 10 years and is a senior executive with more than 30 years of experience in the non-for-profit sector, who has fought to advance minority rights throughout her career. Her vision of a more just society is enabling others to thrive. As the current president and CEO of Sherbourne Health, Hazel dramatically expanded services for Toronto's underserved populations.
City of Toronto proposes 10.5% property tax hike as part of 2024 budget. Property owners could see their tax bill jump 10.5% this year if the figures go unchanged during 5 weeks of scheduled budgets, debates, and consultation. The city building tax is a special levy introduced in 2016 that goes towards major transit and housing projects. The potential increases were outlined by Budget Chief Shelley Carroll at a Wednesday morning news conference ahead of staff presenting their fiscal plan to the city's budget committee.
I've directed city staff to bring forward a balanced budget that protects our services and is honest about the cost of that. This year, that does mean a property tax of 9% on the operational side. We're also keeping in line with previous years in council policy, and we are increasing the city building fund by 1.5% so that we can keep up with repairs and building essential transit and housing. For the average household, these increases altogether mean paying about $30 a month. It means an additional $1 a day. That's what it really means to pocketbooks. There is only one piece outstanding, and it's a big one. The city continues to call on the federal government to provide the $250 million annually that we need to cover the cost of federal refugees and asylum seekers that are trapped in our shelter system. Toronto is a compassionate city and one that never wants to leave people out on the street. That's not just my words. Those are the words we heard this past November and last summer when people were camped out on the street. You told us that, and we're acting on that. We're doing all we can to house over 5,000 refugees and asylum seekers, but this is truly a federal responsibility. Despite months of conversations, we're still waiting for the federal government to decide how to proceed on that. If the federal government does not make a decision on how to proceed by the time we wrap up this budget, our final wrap-up will be January 26th, I will be forced to ask staff to bring forward a proposal for an additional federal impacts levy of 6%. That's the property tax cost of fulfilling a federal responsibility of $250 million. It would mean 6% on the property tax dollar. That would be the federal policy taking a direct hit on Torontonian pocketbooks. But it would be the only way we could avoid once again seeing those heartbreaking images of those people camped out on the street because they can't get into our intake center because we've run out of resources. I sincerely hope that the Trudeau government will make a decision to step up in very short order. I'm optimistic. So with this budget, we really think that we are putting this city back on track to financial stability. We want things to get better and better year over year over year, but we need our partners.
New housing deal. City of Toronto to receive nearly $500 million from the federal government to create 11,780 new homes. Recently, Mayor Olivia Chow was joined by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, the Federal Housing Minister Sean Fraser, and Toronto Danforth MP Julie DeBrussen to announce the federal government will be giving the city $471 million as part of Canada's Housing Accelerator Fund. The new deal will help fast-track nearly 12,000 new housing units over the next 3 years and 50,000 homes projected over the next 3 years. The funding will accelerate City of Toronto efforts to make a generational transformation of Toronto's housing system and increase housing affordability for residents. The funding will be delivered by the Government of Canada through the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation as part of the National Housing Strategy. The Housing Accelerator Fund aims to achieve 100,000 new homes across Canada over the next 3 years. These homes include net new, rent geared to income, affordable and market rental homes located within mixed income, mixed use, and transit-oriented communities.
It is so great to be here. Toronto is our biggest city. It's a world-class city. It's an incredibly vibrant place where every neighborhood is unique, whether it's here in Leslieville or in Mount Pleasant, in the Annex, the Beaches, Scarborough, North York, Cabbagetown, and I could name so many others. Young people come to study here in some of our best universities. Others are here to pursue the careers of their dreams. Families from around the world come to Toronto to build a better life. It's a great city. And if we want to keep it great, we have to make homes more affordable. People who come here need to be able to afford to build a life and a family. People who were born here need to be able to succeed in the communities where they grew up. We're facing a shortage of housing right now. Whether you own or rent, the prices of homes have become way too high. And that is why we created the Housing Accelerator Fund to build more homes of all types faster. When we launched the Housing Accelerator Fund, we told municipalities they could access these funds with bold plans to eliminate red tape and remove barriers. And that's exactly what this agreement today with Toronto does. Through this funding, Toronto will make it easier to get projects rolling by simplifying rezoning requirements and modernizing regulations. It'll also update old zoning rules. It'll expand existing affordable rental programs, and it'll build more homes near transit. With today's agreement, the City of Toronto will fast-track 12,000 new homes over the next 3 years and well over 50,000 new homes over the next decade. We're making real progress today with the 16th Housing Accelerator Fund agreement.
Last time around this year, one of my best students at the Toronto Metropolitan University disappeared from my class for several weeks. Hamza was a smart and conscientious student, so I was really surprised when he stopped coming into class. Turns out that Hamza was evicted from his apartment because of a gigantic rent increase that he can't pay. He bounced from shelter to shelters and got increasingly desperate. Each night, over 10,000 Torontonians sleep in city shelters, and more than 80,000 households are on a waiting list for years and years for affordable housing. And too many young people are giving up the hope of having an affordable home one day, and it is just hard. And the high cost of housing means mothers have to choose between paying rent or buying food for the kids. Young people and families are being forced to move out of the city. Seniors with fixed incomes are terrified they would be evicted and unable to find an apartment they can afford. Today is December 21st, winter solstice. It's a time that we put darkness behind us. It's a time for new beginning, for transformation. And we are gathered here to announce a hopeful new beginning, where under the leadership of our Prime Minister and his government, his team, tens of thousands of construction-ready homes will be built over the coming years. That's exciting. Yes, it needs a round of applause at least. These homes include new rent geared to income, below market and market rents, units in mixed income, mixed-use communities and neighborhoods. And as part of the Housing Accelerator Fund deal, we are reaffirming our commitment to match the urgency of our housing crisis with the speed of our actions. I am so grateful and happy to be standing here today with our Prime Minister, our Deputy Prime Minister, our Housing Minister, the local Member of Parliament, entire Liberal Toronto caucus here. And thank you for providing hope to thousands of people, young and old, from all walks of life, and giving them a new beginning. We are providing hope to people like Hamza. A fresh start that comes from knowing that there will be thousands of units of secure and affordable homes just like those here at the Dawn Summerview Toronto Community Housing Revitalization Project. I want to acknowledge the local councillor, Councillor Paula Fletcher, who fought for years to have more affordable housing included in this project. It's the first community housing revitalization project to hit the goal of 30% rent geared to income and below market housing. Thanks to her hard work and the team here, I see city staff, very committed folks, and everyone with hard hats on. This development has 100 more affordable units, including 32 co-op units, plus 120 rent geared to income units, 550 condos and rentals. Thank you, Paula. Thank you to all of you. This new mixed income community is an example of what we can accomplish together. Imagine with this new federal government support, the city will be able to build more affordable housing just like this project. It is beyond exciting. We will make it easier and faster to get approvals. We will allow for more density and more types of housing. Today's announcement is a significant step. I look forward to continued partnership and future announcements as we work together to build more housing faster for the people of Toronto.
City unveils winter shelter plan. City of Toronto shared important updates about 2023 and 2024 winter services plan that outlined how it will support those experiencing homelessness during the winter months. The city confirmed the opening of a 24-hour respite center located at the Better Living Center on the Exhibition Place, providing resting spaces, meals, and service referrals. In addition, the city's service partner, Covenant House, opened a new 24-hour Winter Respite Program on November the 15th. Located at 20 Gerard Street East, this program is providing 30 much-needed spaces for youth experiencing homelessness and will remain continuously open until April the 15th of 2024. According to the latest figures, the city currently supports 9,370 people in the shelter system and 1,811 people outside the shelter system in bridging hotels and other programs supported by the Canadian Red Cross, for a total of 11,181. Some 48% of those are refugees, according to the city. Now, let's go to the news conference with Gord Tanner, the General Manager of Shelter Support and Housing Administration for the City of Toronto, and City Councillor Alejandra Bravo, the Chair of the Economic and Development Committee.
On the Better Living Centre, I'd like to thank our partners at Exhibition Place for getting this agreement done and for allowing us to offer more space this winter to people experiencing homelessness. I'd also like to thank our partners at Fred Victor Centre and Dixon Hall for all of their work in getting this respite up and running in a very, very short period of time. Once the Better Living Centre is fully operational, it will provide, as I said, much needed shelter and indoor space for 240 individuals. The program will ramp up starting tomorrow with 40 spaces each day until it reaches full capacity on December the 26th. People who are interested in going to the Better Living Centre should call us at Central Intake to be referred to that program. The program will be operational until late March, and at that time we'll need to pass the building back to X Place and work on supporting people in that program, find additional shelter space or space in permanent long-term housing. So to update the details of our winter services plan shared in October, we've opened 180 shelter spaces. We've activated 3 warming centers that open when temperatures reach -5 degrees Celsius, and a 4th warming center will soon be open. And amongst those 4 programs, there's space for 180 people. We've started to tenant the 275 supportive housing opportunities we talked about in October, and just over 100 people have moved into those spaces, freeing up additional locations in the shelter system. And finally, our Streets to Homes program will continue to provide street outreach services to people who are living outdoors and at encampments. They'll do their best to connect with people and encourage them to come inside, but they'll also provide warm blankets, sleeping bags, and warm winter clothing. When temperatures get extremely cold this winter at -15 degrees Celsius, the city will add additional street outreach teams and additional surge capacity across the shelter system. I'd now like to walk you through a few technical slides just to show you what's happening within the shelter system and some of the pressures we're experiencing. So this slide shows you shelter capacity and occupancy. And as you can see, both have continued to grow. Between September of 2021 and today, we've added 2,865 beds to the system. On December 17th, we sheltered 9,370 people, which marks a 44% increase over that time. I expect in the depths of this winter, we'll be sheltering in the shelter system close to 10,000 people. Next slide. So occupancy trends for refugee claimants. Since September of 2021, we've seen the number of refugee claimants in the shelter system increase from 537 to 4,045 people on December the 17th. In November alone, the shelter system admitted 685 new refugee claimants, while in that same month, we housed 334 people into housing. So new refugee claimants currently in the shelter system are coming in at twice the rate that we can support them to move into permanent housing. Next slide. So this chart gives you another glance at trends over time. You can see that the number of refugee claimants has been growing again since September 2021, when borders reopened and travel restrictions eased. And at the same time, we've seen the number of people sheltered who are not refugee claimants has been falling over that period of time, from a high of 6,400 people to 5,325 in December. Next slide. So this slide shows you our family placement list, and the reality is our shelter system is so busy that we've had to start a waiting list for families that are seeking its support. Currently, for any family with children that calls Central Intake, we assist them in finding accommodation and pay for that accommodation in hotels across the city. The family then waits for space to become available in the shelter system. This list has also continued to grow and now totals 467 families, over 1,400 people, and 322 of these families are refugee families. Next slide. City staff also started working with the Canadian Red Cross to support another 411 refugee claimants in hotel accommodations outside of the shelter system. This was a result of Council's direction for us to open 250 spaces in the summertime. So in summary, when you look at the number of people within the shelter system and you add to that the number of families on the family placement list and those supported by the Canadian Red Cross, Toronto is currently accommodating 11,452 people as of December the 17th. Of these, 5,422, or 47%, are refugee claimants. Next slide. You know, it is true that Toronto provides significantly more service than any other jurisdiction in this country. And even with this rich service landscape, each day, approximately 200 people are left unmatched to a shelter bed in Toronto after they call our Central Intake phone service. That usually includes between 50 and 100 refugee claimants. Unfortunately, we've seen these numbers grow significantly over the course of the summer and into fall. We've seen a slight decrease as we've opened some winter programming. But we know that it doesn't reflect the total number of people in need of shelter space on any given day in the city. Next slide. So shelter support and housing and our community partners are on track to house about 5,000 people this year in permanent, deeply affordable housing and supportive housing. Due to the increasing cost of rent in Toronto and insufficient social assistance rates, however, households that are in the emergency shelter now need financial help to bridge the affordability gap and leave homelessness. One of the programs that we've relied on is the Canada-Ontario Housing Benefit, and it's been very successful in moving people out of the shelter system. And it provides that financial bridge to people's income support so they can afford rent in the private market. It's a benefit that's been particularly helpful in assisting refugee claimants, individuals, and families. Since its launch in 2022, the COB program, as it's known, has become the leading pathway out of homelessness for emergency shelter users, and in recent months accounts for 75% of all housing outcomes created, and creating that much-needed flow of people through the shelter system itself. You can see on this graph that the city ran out of this important benefit in mid-June, and without it, the number of people housed from our shelter system plummeted. Since the increase in funding provided by the City of Toronto and matched by the province in August 2023, the COB benefit has supported over 1,300 households to exit homelessness, and you can see that rebound in recent months. It's forecasted to reach 2,000 households, approximately 300 people per month, by the end of the program in March 2024. You know, these are 1,300 or 2,000 individuals that otherwise would still be in the shelter system, meaning more people would be calling and not getting matched to a shelter bed, and more people would be on the street. Demand for the COB program continues to outstretch the available benefits each month, meaning if we had more of them, we could certainly house more people out of the shelter system. In order to maintain shelter flow and relieve pressure in a stretched shelter system, the city urgently needs other orders of government to step up and ensure that Toronto receives sufficient funding to support at minimum 300 households per month through the COB program. We're calling specifically on the federal government to match the province's additional COB funding allocations to ensure there's sufficient funding to both sustain the existing program and for new recipients, while ensuring the city is able to maintain the program at its existing level in 24 and 25. Without this funding, the city is likely to see shelter outflows drop again, as they did this summer in August and September. The final slide, I'd like to touch on some of our financials. So our budget submission to the 2024 budget for next year is $787 million. The estimated total expense for a refugee response in 2023 is $200 million. The projected expense in 2024 is $250 million. We are very thankful to the provincial government for its contribution of $600 million to the shelter system over the next 3 years. However, we note that that funding is conditional on contributions by the federal government. And unless we see those contributions, we're at risk of seeing more people on the streets of our city, and the funding from the province could also be at risk. I'd like to now pass it over to Councillor Bravo for some remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Gord. I think there's no denying anywhere in this city or in this country that homelessness and the affordable housing crisis is something that has become a human emergency in every town and city. What you've heard today is the City of Toronto stretching again to meet this demand. The opening of the Better Living Centre is something that's been anxiously awaited in community. And it's something that I think is important to remember that respite, this kind of service was not offered last year. And we heard from frontline organizations and from medical professionals that this was something that was needed. So obviously, you've seen some additions over what was announced by ourselves earlier this fall. And the work to ensure that we're meeting the demand in every way continues. But I think it's important to note that given the city's fiscal position today, what has been announced and what might be needed next year is always in jeopardy unless we are able to secure $200 million annually, $600 million total over 3 years from the provincial government. And I'll come back to that because we know that the federal government needs to step up and match or better. I think it's important to remember that the City of Toronto is meeting needs and providing services outside of its jurisdiction. Refugees are not the City of Toronto's jurisdiction, but the need is being attended to here with care. I think it's also important to remember that, when you hear about that Canada-Ontario housing benefit, it's the provincial government and the City of Toronto that's been funding that. Without that additional influx of money in August, 1,350 households would not have been housed. Think about that.
Events and job opportunities in Regent Park community. And now for the events in the community. Regent Park Film Festival is hiring programming managers. Deadline is February 2nd. For more information, you can go to their website at rpff.ca/jobs. Dixon Hall Skills for Success for Women in Regent Park, starting mid-January 2024. To register, please contact Pauline Lewis at pauline.lewis@dixonhall.org. The Regent Park Neighborhood Association and TCHC are recruiting 2 members for the SDP Community Benefits Oversight Working Group. Email resumes and personal statements to talkregentpark@torontohousing.ca. Regent Park Tech Landing Library is providing Regent Park residents access to laptops, tablets, and fast internet. Open 7 days a week from 1 to 7 p.m. at Daniel Spectrum, 585 Dundas Street East. Please bring ID and proof of address. For more information, contact rpna.techlibrary@gmail.com. And that was all for events. See you next week.
My name is Kedar Ahmed, and thank you for watching RPTV Weekly News. And for this week's show, my co-hosts are Fred, Brooke, and Gabriel. We'll see you all next week.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow us on social media, and for more information, check out our website.